Let's talk about the new era in Jets football with my guy Boy Green, host of the Man Child Show and Jets digital reporter for Heavy On Sports. His government is Paul, but you guys know him as Man Child. What's going on, my guy?
Yeah, I'm doing awesome, Brandon. Thanks for having me on the show. It's been too damn long, my friend.
I mean, yeah, man. But we've had so much news and information that's broke on this team. Never been a dull day. Follow your show in the mornings. Wake up, listen to that, man. So keep killing it. But let's start with this first report because I know we all saw Jay Glazer's report on Sunday how the franchise is, preparing to move on from Aaron Rodgers. You know the temperature of the fan base. 18 games and 5 wins later. Which Aaron is Jets Nation siding with after the news? Aaron Glenn or Aaron Rodgers?
It might be a loud minority, but there is a lot of Aaron Rodgers support in the community. Maybe it's
Really?
because of how he ended the season with 4 touchdown passes. And, ultimately, when you look at the raw numbers from the end of the season, it's one of the top 5 Jets quarterback seasons that we've ever seen. So, from the raw numbers, there's a lot of fans that say, hey, look, Aaron Rodgers, look at the numbers. 4-time NFL MVP. Aaron Glenn's never been a head coach before. So, it's a bag of mystery. You have a little bit more with Aaron Rodgers that you think you know. But, again, I advocate people to give AG some time to work through this. He deserves the benefit of the doubt. And quite frankly, for being honest, Aaron Rodgers' statistics in his season weren't as great as people say it was. Look at all the times that he had the ball at the end of games and he blew it, or the offense sucked and didn't get a touchdown left and right. The Arizona game was disgusting. They lost to Gerard Mayo and the New England Patriots in New England. So, I don't think the Aaron Rodgers season was all it was cracked up to be, and I don't blame AG for saying, "Yeah, let's hit the reset button on this quarterback situation."
So, what do you think about that report that was out there saying that they gave him like that ultimatum saying that if you're going to come back, you can't do the Pat McAfee show anymore?
It's AG, Bill Parcells recreated, baby. He said, hey, I'm the new sheriff in town. Aaron Rodgers, and he laid down the line and said, no more of that Pat McAfee crap. You're going to have to show up to all of the mandatory workouts, whether it's a mandatory mini camp comes in June or training camp or what have you. He does not want the quarterback to be above the team. It's 53 guys, and I know that's sort of an old school way of looking at it with Bill Parcells, but again, AG needs to have an Aaron Glenn culture, not an Aaron Rodgers culture. And it's going to be very difficult for those two things, or it would have been difficult for those two things to have coexisted together. So Glenn is like, hey, the first big move is setting Rodgers along his way, and I'm going to establish my own culture and era here. And ultimately, he'll be defined by that. So I kind of like the chutzpah there, baby, from AG.
Yeah, it's kind of what Sean Payton did when he took over as the Broncos head coach with Russell Wilson. He told him, "You're not getting that office anymore." He kind of banned the his personal quarterback coach from coming into the facility. You got to come in. You got to set your culture from day one. You can't have a distraction like that, especially if it's your QB1 and that's the leader of your team. But Paul, there's a lot of teams that's going to be in the market for a quarterback. So put your GM hat on for me right now. Give me the how and who. How are they going to get that quarterback, and who could that quarterback be?
Well, Brandon, you reached out to the right guy. I'm the right guy, so I'm glad that you've asked me this question. That's already you're already on the right path, baby. There are 2 names that immediately come to mind if I'm running the operation for the New York Jets. And you know what? If the Jets were a dating profile, they're into older guys. And, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, different strokes for different folks. They chased the Aaron Rodgers path, and it didn't work out. But I don't blame them for trying to swim in those waters. So let's do it again. Let's give it a discount double check, baby. Matthew Stafford, the LA Rams. Let's make a trade. Things don't seem to be going quite well over there on the West Coast for whatever reason. Just give a call, see what it would take to pry Matthew Stafford there from the Rams. There's a lot of rumors, both whether it's New York Giants or New York Jets, potentially jumping in those waters. So that's one of the first calls I'm making if I'm general manager Darren Moochie. of the New York Jets. And then option number two, I want to go with a much younger option, someone that's got a little bit more fresh legs to him. And it's a reunion story, baby. Sam Darnold, come on back down. He's going to be available. 27, will be 28 by the time the season rolls around. Hey, Jet fans can dust off those old Sam Darnold jerseys, baby, and bring them back. I know a lot of people are discouraged with how that ended in Week 18 and then the playoff game, but I saw more than enough of a sample size that Sam Darnold has far grew from what he was once with the New York Jets, and then the terribleness with the Panthers, and then being a backup with the 49ers. I'd welcome Sam Darnold back home with wide open arms, baby. He seems like the perfect quarterback for what the New York Jets need. He's young enough, and finally, Joe Douglas lied to the poor man's family. Oh, don't worry, Sam Darnold's parents. We're going to give you protection and playmakers, and it was god-awful. He didn't meet any of those. He lied. Absolute liar. And now, hey, we've got protection and playmakers. 4 of the 5 Jets offensive line starters are under contract. You got Garrett Wilson, you got Breece Hall. Okay, we got some pieces to work with. So, Sammy, come on back home, baby.
So you want the Jets to go after sugar daddies and their exes. I absolutely love it.
That's it. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Album. So who are some guys that could hit free agency that you think that the Jets should re-sign because they fit in with the culture that Aaron Glenn is trying to create?
It's a great question because there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of names. DJ Reeds and in-house free agents like Jamie and Sherwood and some of those kind of options. To me, one of the big ones that I'm letting a lot of people go. A lot of people I'm driving to the airport. Let me help you. Help me help you. Hassan Reddick, hop in the minivan, baby. You're going anywhere else but here. There's a bunch of those guys that are leaving. DJ Reed, who I like a lot, I think he's going to get the bag from somebody else. Jamin Sherwood, again, we've been talking through some of these names. That's a guy that I would be interested in. Steve Wilks has run 3-4 and 4-3 in his history. AG has run 3-4 and 4-3 in his history. So regardless of the scheme, Jamin Sherwood is a developmental story that's worked out for the Jets. And we haven't had an opportunity to say that a lot. He's a former safety, converted to linebacker. Hell, he wasn't even supposed to start this season. CJ Mosley gets hurt, and Jamin Sherwood has his career year where he's top 5 in tackles in the league. This is a young buck where the arrow is pointing up. I'm curious to see what the price tag would be. Inside linebackers normally don't get paid crazy amounts of money. I would bring him in because Quincy Williams is entering the last year of his deal coming up here in 2025. I'd love to secure Jamie, and that's the kind of guy you want to build around. A young leader, a lot of chutzpah, a lot of talent, and he's somebody that I would make a priority if I was the New York Jets.
All right. Final thoughts now that the season is officially over and we're heading into the new league year next month.
Good Lord. I mean, it was an epic disaster, Brandon. I mean, this is the most disappointing 2-year stretch I've ever seen from the New York Jets. We were like, ooh, Super Bowl. And then Aaron Rodgers' Achilles exploded on the field and all hell broke loose last year. And then this year he plays all 17 and they stink again. So in 13 of the last 14 years, the Jets have not had a winning record. It's been 500 or worse. The one year they did, they still didn't even make the playoffs. So specifically over these last 2 years, the Aaron Rodgers era hit and then it left. It's time for something new. It's time to wash the hands, get a clean slate here, and that's exactly what we're going to have with AG and this new team coming together, the coaching staff, but you still have a lot of the core pieces. So it's really, quite frankly, to me, putting a bow on the last 2 years of this Aaron Rodgers experience. I'll remember it forever because I'll never be able to forget it. All the incredible highs and mostly lows of everything that happened here. It will be this underwhelming, disappointing thing that Jet fans are going to have to cope with their therapist for the next 30 years.
All right, Paul, thanks for hopping on with this, my man. Better days are ahead. Better days are ahead.
God bless, Brandon. Until next time.